Hi there everyone, happy Monday. I'm King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon. You've probably been hearing about the big heat wave that's going to be impacting a lot of the eastern half of the country, and you can see a lot of these numbers right here. Upper 80s, lower to mid 90s, even temperatures around the century mark over this way around New York at 102 heading into the day for tomorrow. And there's a bunch of humidity to go along with that as well. For us on this side of the country, we've actually seen a warm up the past couple of days, made our way back into the 70s. Tomorrow, we're going to be up near the 80-degree mark at 78 degrees. And this will be at least a one-day, or I guess a two-day event, because we did warm up again today as well. But we are going to see some cooler numbers too, which we're going to get into in just a second. But check out today's numbers: 74 in Bremerton, 78 in Olympia, 77 in Seattle. And then we had the 60s out towards the coast. Again, tomorrow, slightly warmer than today, so we continue this warming trend, but we do cool down by the middle and the latter part of the work week. And that comes along with some very low rain chances. I'm going to talk about that and how light the rain is expected to be once we see that move in. Not going to be anything like what we just saw this past Saturday, but we are warming up again heading into the weekend, and most of the days that we are going to see here over the next 7-day stretch probably going to be warmer than normal, which that normal right now is up to 73 degrees. But check out the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, another pretty warm and a somewhat sunny day. We expect some clouds towards the tail end of the day, and then we have this 3-day stretch, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, where we have those hit or miss, very light rain showers coming on through as temperatures fall back in the upper 60s there, and then we start to climb again heading on through the weekend and into the start of next work week. Now, I wanted to show you this because what we've been noticing, even though things have been warming up, we've been seeing a good amount of sunshine. It's been more of a filtered look. You can see a lot more of that upper level cloud coverage, bringing in more of that haze to the sky. So looking here at Hansville, this is as of about 7:30, 8 o'clock here into your Monday evening. You can see that there, and you can also see that looking at our SchoolNet side here in Granite Falls, that sky not quite as crisp and blue showing up. But a beautiful shot here as we get ready to end off the day there. And in Port Angeles, definitely can tell looking at this shot right now, looking out over the strait. And as we go ahead and look here at Everett, just wanted to show you a couple more, showing you those hazy skies that are pretty nice. Going to make for a beautiful sunset though this evening, and really for tomorrow evening as well, with some extra clouds expected then. Here in Seattle, temperatures in the lower 70s. It's been a nice warm up again, pretty comfortable here into the evening, with west winds right now coming in at about 9 miles per hour. Expect temperatures tonight to drop down into those low to mid 50s, and then we're going to crank those numbers yet up again, back up near the 80-degree mark. Now, big change from yesterday, because our numbers are up by about 7 to 8, 9, closer to 12 degrees in comparison to, at this point, up and down the I-5 corridor, and generally here over more the Kitsap Peninsula and parts of Puget Sound, where we've been noticing less of a difference, but still a warm up out over the Olympic Peninsula. Here around Port Angeles, we're only up by 2 degrees in comparison to yesterday, so not much of a change, but it did help us out a little bit. And currently temperatures again between about 7:30 to 8 o'clock around those lower to mid 60s over more the Olympic Peninsula and closer to the coast, while seeing the lower to mid 70s here around more of our interior spots. All right, radar, I'm not going to really have a whole lot to talk about here, especially on our side of the state, up there near the Canadian border. A few showers and storms still lingering with that system that is now well off to our east right now after bringing the cool down of the rain over the weekend. What we expect is that we're going to continue to see some of this cloud coverage move on in, and I did mention that we are seeing a bit more of a hazy look to the sky, and that's because we have this area of high pressure. It's centered more out over the Pacific, so we have clouds moving up and over and around this area of high pressure, but this is what we call more of a dirty ridge of high pressure, meaning that it's not quite as clean at that sky. It's not really creating a completely clear sky. We still have some clouds really muffling up some of the clear skies that we've had here throughout today and what we're expecting into the day for tomorrow. But either way, it's really helped things to warm up, and it still kept things pretty dry here across our side of the state. So looking at Futurecast here into the night, some of those clouds just continuing to work in. What we expect is by tomorrow morning, a good amount of sunshine is going to be in place, and we'll have those upper level clouds, especially earlier on into the day, eventually start to come together and really thicken, and then we're going to have mainly cloudy skies by the latter part of the day. Maybe enough moisture too, higher terrain up across the Cascades could kick off a few showers. We'll see if we have any thunderstorm activity with that. Shouldn't be a whole lot, but this is going to be the leading edge of this marine air that's going to come in from off of the Pacific and start to cool things down as we head on into Wednesday. Wednesday. That's 7 o'clock early into Wednesday morning, and you can see the massive clouds that's across our side of the state and the few little dips and dots of some green showing up on Futurecast, meaning that there's some moisture in the atmosphere and there could be maybe a quick little shower here, nothing too organized with that, or maybe just patchy drizzle or a few sprinkles that are going to be around with that. We'll see how much moisture we can squeeze out of the atmosphere to get that to work its way all the way down here to the surface. But we are going to see a cool down. That will be a certainty with this as we head into Wednesday and also heading into the day on Thursday as this system starts to work its way on through. And then here we are looking at Futurecast a bit further out. This is going to be Thursday looking at noon, and you can see better chances are going to be across the higher terrain. You usually squeeze out a little more moisture when you get into more of the mountain areas and out towards the coast. We'll see this move on through. Maybe our best chance of maybe seeing some organized shower activity with that. Then by Friday, we start to lose a lot of that moisture. Still a good bit of it up across more British Columbia and southeast Alaska. And then into the weekend, here we are on Saturday. This is 2 p.m. I think for the most part, we're going to be clearer and drier. Not going to see too much moisture in the forecast for us at that point, and definitely starting to see that warm up as a big ridge of high pressure will try to work its way on through here. Not going to be any extreme heat on the way for us, thankfully not like what they're seeing out towards the east, but it is going to warm us back up and we'll have a higher chance of maybe seeing some of those 80s as we head into Sunday and into next Monday as the storm track will work its way up into southeast Alaska and up into British Columbia, and we'll be staying dry here at least for the first half of next week. So when we're talking about rainfall amounts with this, less than 1/10 of an inch if we see anything at all. There could be some spots that don't see any measurable rainfall at all with this as we head over the next 7-day stretch, but less than 1/10 of an inch, and areas here, higher terrain, more of Skagit and Whatcom County, better chances of seeing maybe a little less than 1/2 of an inch of rain, especially into Whatcom County up this way across the higher peaks there. But yeah, not going to be too wet of a forecast here ahead, and we do see a little more of that summer-like warmth as we go throughout the next 7-day stretch. So here it is. As we go throughout the next few days, expect temperatures to fall down, and if you are more of a cooler weather fan, here you are, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, a little something for everyone, right? We get up into the upper 70s and lower 80s into the day tomorrow. We'll see a bit more of that heading on into next work week. Normal high now up to 73 degrees. So we're going to have at least 3 days here that will be below average and a few days that are also expected to be quite above. Here's your forecast for tonight. We drop down between a lot of us the low to mid 50s. Could be a few spots with those clearer skies. Southwest interior down this way around Thurston County, interior spots of Grays Harbor and Mason County. Maybe dropping down into the upper 40s. Better chances too up this way around more of Clallam County. And then into the day tomorrow, highs reaching the lower 70s up around Bellingham, Blaine at 71, and Cordes. We top off at 65, and Mount Vernon will get up into the mid 70s as well. And then it looks like we're going to be right around more the mid to upper 70s down this way around Arlington, Marysville, Everett getting up to 74 degrees. A little cooler for us there across Camano and Whidbey Island, generally in the 60s. Clinton will top off at 72 there, 80 degrees in Monroe. Foothill communities getting just a bit warmer. We'll see more of that too east side and heading a little up into more of Issaquah, getting closer to North Bend and Snoqualmie. Maple Valley up to 80 degrees tomorrow. Mid 70s around Bainbridge Island will top off at about 79 in Bremerton, 79 in Auburn, and more low 80s down this way for Tacoma, JBLM, Puyallup, and then around Belfair, maybe just staying shy of the 80-degree mark. Here's your 7-day forecast. We'll see temperatures continue to climb here into the day for tomorrow. That will be the end of this initial warming trend, and then we'll cool down at least for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. See a very little amounts of rain come through with that, but it is going to be just enough maybe to damp the grass or the soil a little bit before we dry out again and start to warm things up heading into the weekend, Saturday through Sunday and into next Monday.